cash flows to the final time frame or to the final time period, and depending upon the value, we will find out whether to go with the equipment or not. So generally in the case of future worth method, we will be using the equation F is equal to A into F by I comma N, or if it is a single payment, we will be using F is equal to P into 1 plus I to the power N. So these two equations will play an important role when it comes to future worth. Then the third component which will help us to compare the alternative is annual equivalent method. So in annual equivalent method, we will resolve the cash flow on an annual basis. Okay. So what we'll do is we will resolve the cash flow, right? If it is a single payment or if we have a gradient, okay, and if we have some value or the salvage value at some time period. So altogether, we will be calculating these cash flows equivalent value on an annual basis, right? So every year, what would be the consolidation of the single payment or the initial payment or principal deposit or the salvage value which you have over some time period, or any gradient value if it is there. So altogether, its consolidated value on an annual basis will give me the annual equivalent method or annual equivalent value. So based on that value, we will decide the alternatives. Capital recovery is how fast you are going to recover the capital which you have invested. Okay, so that is capital recovery method. Again, we will be using A by P, A by F, right? Or A is equal to A1 plus G, A by G, I comma N. So all those formulas to calculate the capital recovery. In rate of return method, according to your syllabus, you have only one type, that is internal rate of return. Okay, so internal rate of return is nothing but a rate at which the present worth of cost will be equal to the present worth of revenue. So here in rate of return or internal rate of return, we generally calculate the value of I. So we will be having all the cost factors, revenue factors, but we will be calculating the interest rate I by making the net present worth equal to 0 or present worth of cost equal to present worth of benefits. Okay, so generally we calculate the interest rate I by using trial and error method. So we look these concepts also. So these 5 components are there for your syllabus when it comes to economic evaluation of alternative. Okay, so first we will look at the present worth method. So as I have said, present worth is nothing but the value at time 0. Here also, what we are going to do is we will deduce or we will resolve the cash flows from the future period to the time 0 by assuming some interest rate I. Then depending upon the type, we will be, depending upon the value, we will be selecting which is the best option among the alternatives. Okay, now when we say about the type, okay, so in the question we will be mentioning, okay, whether to use this present worth, future worth, so that we don't have any problems. Okay, but how to arrive at a final conclusion, so that is one important thing which you need to know here. So to make decision or to get the final value and its inference, so we will be using two types of approaches. Okay, so one is nothing but the cash cost dominated cash flow approach, and the second one is revenue dominated cash flow approach. Okay, but before moving on to that, there are some conditions which we have also studied. Okay, so first one is the cash flows are known, right? So that means all the cash flow values should be known. Cash flows are in a constant value. As I have said in the last class, this need not be constant always, but when we calculating annual values, we will be making or we will be drawing all the cash flows on an annual basis. So in that case, that would be a constant value. Okay. Then the interest rate would be known. So the value of I would be known. Okay. Then comparison does not include any intangible factors. We will be considering only the cost factors, but we are not going to calculate anything relating to the quality of the machine. Okay, so it does not include any intangible factors also. Okay, then the two approaches which I have told you when to calculate or when to arrive at a final decision, right? So those two approaches are nothing but the cost dominated cash flow diagram approach. This is one approach, and the second one is revenue dominated cash flow diagram approach. So these two diagrams or these two approaches will be helpful for us in inferring the numerical or inferring the results. Okay, first we will look at the cost dominated cash flow approach. So I guess we have stopped till here. Okay, so cost dominated cash flow approach in the sense you will have a cash flow with more of cost factors. Okay, so in the cost dominated cash flow diagram, the cost will be assigned with the positive sign and the profit or the salvage value will be assigned with the negative sign. Okay, so that is the sign convention. So in the case of cost dominated approach, all the cost factors like the initial cost, annual operating cost, and any other maintenance cost. Okay, so all these cost parameters will be taken as positive, and the salvage value. Now salvage value is nothing but the resale value of the equipment after its service life. So it is nothing but the value which the organization gets after selling that equipment at the end of its service life. Okay, so that is nothing but a source of income, right? So that salvage value and the profits or any revenues which the organization will be getting in using the equipment will be taken as negative. Okay, so in cost dominated cash flow diagram, all the cost factors should be taken as positive and the revenue factor as negative. So that you have to remember. So this is nothing but a cash flow diagram for cost dominated. So you can see that on the screen. So students, can you able to see the screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine. So this cash flow diagram is a general representation of cost factors or a cost dominated cash flow diagram. It's a simple representation, and this concept we have already studied. Only thing is this cost dominated we have not studied. Okay, but it is just a terminology used to explain a cash flow diagram with more, which consists of more cost factors. Okay, so here P is nothing but the initial outlay or for the purchase price or the initial investment of the machine. Okay, since we will be paying a supplier for giving us the product, right? Or if we are buying something, then we will give them the money, right? So that will be an initial investment or the cash is moving out from the individual or the organization. Okay, so that is nothing but the value of P. Then CJ is nothing but net cost of operations and maintenance at the end of J here, right? So that means the value which they have given from year 1 to year n, right? So that is nothing but C1, C2, CJ, Cn are nothing but the cost factors associated with that machine. So it can be the operation cost or it can be the maintenance cost. Okay, so C1, C2, Cj and Cn are nothing but the cost, operation and maintenance cost associated with that machine or equipment during that time period. So C1 is nothing but operation and maintenance cost at the end of year 1. Then C2 is nothing but the cost at year 2. CJ is nothing but the operation cost, operation and maintenance cost at the year CJ, at the year J. Likewise, you have CN. And S is nothing but the salvage value, which we call it as the resale value of the component. That means the company will get this much amount, the value at after selling that equipment at the end of service life. Okay. So for example, if you purchase an equipment worth of 10,000 today, after some years, right, it will loses its value or it loses its value by some percentage. Okay, and it comes back to say 3,000 rupees. Okay, so that amount we consider it as salvage value, and this 3,000 we will be going to get when we sell the equipment. Okay, so this is the salvage value. Yes. So here the sign convention would be all the cost parameters would be taken as positive and the revenue factor or the revenue component would be taken as negative. So that means here the all the arrows pointing downward is taken as positive and the arrows pointing upward would be negative. So that would be cost diagram or cost dominated cash flow diagram. Okay. So on the basis of present worth for a given interest rate I, we will be calculating the present worth using this equation. Okay. So what is this equation actually? Whether we have to learn this equation, whether we have studied this equation?
Yes, sir, we have studied it.
Where we have studied it?
Sir,
What is that equation?
it's a simple compound interest. We are taking it back to the present world.
Correct. So again, this equation you need not by heart. Okay. So this equation you need not by heart. This is the same equations which we have learned in the second unit, that is time value of money. Okay. So what they have done here is they have resolved this entire cash flow in one single step. Right? We have solved some numericals, right, in one single steps, as well as we have solved it by splitting the entire cash flow into different segments. Okay. So here also you can either go by this method where you can resolve the entire cash flow in one single step, or you can split it, right? So present worth, as I have said, is nothing but the value at time 0. And always when we say present worth, so present worth in the sense you will have the present worth of cost as well as the present worth of revenue and the salvage value. Okay, so that difference will be the net present worth for the organization. Okay, so net present worth is nothing but the present worth or the present worth of the amount, cost amount, as well as the present worth of the revenue. So here, since we are calculating the present worth for the alternatives, or we are going to compare the alternative on the basis of present worth, so at time 0 we will be calculating. So the value of t, since it is already in the 0th year, so no interest will be added to it. Okay, so the value of P at 0th year will be P itself, the same value, no interest factor. For the value or the cost component C1, which is at the year 1, to calculate its present worth, we have to use a single payment method, because here the values or the cost components which are there from year 1 to year n are different. That is why they have mentioned C1, C2, Cj and Cn. That means these cost components values are different and it is not annuity. Okay, so in such cases we have to use single payment method to calculate the value. So to calculate the present worth of C1, right? So C1 into P by F, interest rate is I%. I have to move by one step to reach 0. So n is equal to 1. So here P by F is nothing but 1 divided by 1 plus I raised to S. So that is the formula. Okay. So like that, for the second year also they have given C2 into P by F I comma 2, Cj into P by F I comma 3 and so on. So these are nothing but the formula which we have used in time value of money under single payment present worth. Okay, so all the cost factor here you can see they have taken as positive, including the initial investment P. Okay, but the salvage value is again a source of revenue or a source of income to the organization, as I have told you in the previous slide. So this would be taken as negative. So you can see that it is minus S. Okay, so it would be minus S, and we have to bring this amount from n year to 0 year. Okay, by counting the number of steps. So that is why again it has been considered as single payment, and they have used the formula 1 divided by 1 plus I to the power n. So this is the equation for calculating present worth. You need not by heart it with, okay, but only thing is either you can solve the entire cash flow in one single step, or you can split it as we have did for some of the numericals in the time value of money unit. Okay, so this you can copy down. One important thing is when you calculate the present worth, you have to see which alternative is selected. Okay, so that you have to mention for every numerical. You have to write the inference. Okay, which alternative among the two alternatives, which alternative is preferred or which alternative is selected. So that you have to mention always. So for selecting the alternative, when it comes to cost dominated, the alternative which has the less or the minimum present worth would be selected, because the company generally look for minimizing the cost and maximizing the revenue. So at the time they will see the alternatives which has got the minimum cost factor, that means the minimum present worth of cost. Okay, so that component they will, or that alternative they will purchase. Or if it is a revenue dominated, where you have more of revenue component than the cost, in that case they will see which alternative will give them better returns or better revenues among others. Okay, so that alternative they will purchase. So in cost dominated, the alternative with minimum present worth amount should be selected as the best alternative, whereas in the revenue dominated, the alternative with the maximum present worth should be selected as the best alternative. So the last sentence is very important, and this you have to write it for all the numerical. So you have to mention which among the alternatives which is the best one. So you need not explain it, but you have to write the final decision, which alternative the company can purchase. Okay, so this is cost dominated. Any doubt here?
No, sir.
Okay. So then we shall move on to the revenue dominated. So revenue dominated cash flow diagram. So in a revenue dominated or a profit dominated cash flow diagram, all the components relating to the profits, revenues and the salvage value will be taken as positive because they are nothing but inflows to the organization and it gets added up to the total amount of the company. Okay, so that is why they have been taken as positive and all the cost factors would be taken as negative. Okay, so that is the difference between the cost and revenue dominated. Cost dominated, cost would be positive and revenue would be negative. In the case of revenue dominated, revenue would be positive and cost would be negative. Now, how to identify a numerical where you have the cost and revenue? So that I will tell you when we are going to solve the numerical. Okay, so revenue dominated, revenue would be positive and the cost would be negative. Okay, so this would be the general cash flow diagram for revenue dominated. So all the arrows pointing upward would be taken as positive. That is R1, R2, R3, RJ and RN are nothing but the revenue which are generated by the organization at year 1, 2, 3, J and N. P is nothing but the initial investment and S is nothing but the salvage value, which is again on the positive side or again a source of revenue. Okay, so P is nothing but initial investment, RJ net revenue at the end of J year, S is nothing but the salvage value at the end of N year. Okay, so this is the general revenue dominated cash flow diagram. So if you can see or if you can identify a cash flow of this nature, then you can solve it according to revenue dominated principle. So the same equation here we have used, but only thing is you can see the difference, you can see the sign convention. So all the revenues would be taken as positive here in the revenue dominated and all the costs would be taken as negative. So that is why initial investment I have mentioned it as minus P, whereas R1, R2, R3, RJ and RN we have considered it as single payment and the sign is positive because it is revenue dominated including the salvage value. Okay. So including the salvage value we have taken it as a positive because it is a revenue dominated cash flow diagram. So the alternative with maximum present worth should be selected as the best alternative. So that is one important thing which you need to remember because it will be helpful for writing the inference. Okay, so we will go on to the numericals. just copy down this numerical. A construction company receives 2 bids for an elevator to be installed in their newly constructed apartment, the details of which are given in the table. Determine the best bid based on present worth method at 12% interest rate. So in the table they have given the alternatives 1 and 2, initial cost of the alternative they have given, service life they have given, as well as the annual operating cost. So always in the numericals we will mention the type of method which you need to use. If in some cases if we don't give any of the methods, then you can calculate on the basis of present worth or future worth or annual. Okay, so in that case the choice will be left to you, so you can solve it on any type or any method for determining the best alternative. Okay, so here I will just draw the cash flow diagram because now you know the concept, right, of the time value of money. So for alternative 1, so the time frame would be 15 years. So service life is nothing but the time frame, okay, from 0 to 15. Okay, so 0 to 15 is my time frame. So initial cost is nothing but the initial investment, that is 5,80,000 for the first alternative. Okay, annual operating cost is nothing but the operating cost or the operating expenses which the company has to incur for every year for a period of 15 years throughout the service life of that equipment, and that value is 59,500. So here in this case they have not given salvage value, so we are not going to draw any arrows on the other side of the cash flow diagram. Okay. So interest rate they have given as 12%. So now you can see here in this cash flow diagram you have components relating to the initial cost as well as the annual operating cost, and we don't have any components on the revenue side. So that means the given cash flow diagram is belonging to the cost dominated approach. Okay, so then we will be using the cost dominated parameters, wherein the cost factor should be taken as positive and the revenue factor would be taken as negative. So all the arrows pointing downward will have positive sign, and all the arrows pointing upward will be taken as negative. But here in this case we don't have any revenue factors. Okay, so we will not be considering any revenue factor. So directly you can calculate its present worth. Okay, so at 12% interest. Okay, so here it would be 5,80,000. Since it is already in the 0th year, no need of multiplying it with any interest factor, plus 29,500 is nothing but the annuity, right, which is starting from year 1 to year 15. Okay, that will be P by A, because we are going to calculate its present worth. So always the value which we need to find will be in the numerator, and the value which is given in the question will be in the denominator. Interest rate is 12%. Now you have 15 arrows. Okay, so n will be 15. So this will be the present worth of the alternative one. Likewise, we calculate the present worth for alternative 2, and depending upon the result, which alternative is having the minimum present worth amount, that alternative would be selected. So please calculate and tell me what is the value you get here. Yeah, what is the answer? What is the present worth amount for alternative 1?
Sir, it is 7,27,500 rupees.
Okay, 7,37,500 rupees.
7,27,500 rupees.
Okay, 7,27,500. Okay. Okay, I have not calculated it. So you might be getting 7,27,500. What is the present worth for alternative 2?
Sir, it is 7,94,000.
7,94,000. So for alternative 2, it is 7,94,000. So among these two alternatives, alternative 1 is having less or minimum present worth. So alternative 1 is selected. Okay. So any confusion here? Any confusion, any doubts here? So this is cost dominated cash flow diagram. So please check with the answers. Probably you might be getting 7,27,500 and 7,94,000 for alternative 1 and 2. So depending upon the present worth, the minimum present worth value, the alternative with minimum present worth value, that would be selected. Okay, so here in this case, we have selected alternative 1 because it is having less present worth. So this is the first one. Yeah. Please solve the second one. Please take down the numerical and try to solve it. The following table gives an initial outlay and the annual revenue of a production firm using three different technologies. Find the best alternative if the interest rate is 20% compounded annually. So in the table they have given three alternatives, 1, 2, 3. Initial outlay and annual revenues has been given. So initial outlay is nothing but initial investment, and annual revenues from year 1 to year 10 they have given, because the service life is 10 years. So here in this numerical we have only one factor relating to the cost, and we have a series of annual revenue for a period of 10 years. Okay, so the annual revenue value here would be more than compared to the cost factor. So that is why we go with revenue dominated cash flow diagram. So any difficulty, students? So I guess the concepts are clear. Now you can easily use the concepts of time value of money to resolve these cash flows. So I don't think you will have any difficulty. So what is the present worth for technology one? Technology one here. What is the present worth for technology one? Has anyone calculated it? it would be minus 21,000, 21,50,000 plus 4 lakhs into P by A. Interest rate is 20% for a period of 10 years. This is the equation. So what is the value you get here? Students, am I audible? Any difficulty?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So we'll be calculating present worth of technology 1, then present worth of technology 2, and present worth of technology 3. So what is the value you get here? Has anyone calculated?
So present worth for first first case is minus 473012.
473012. Okay. For the second case,
Minus 213388.
minus 213388. Okay. Then third one,
Sir, it is plus 1305525.
1305525. Okay, right. So for the first technology, present worth amount was minus 4,73,012 and 12. For the second one, it is 2,13,388, and for the third, it is plus 13,05,525. Okay. So among the three alternatives, the alternative with the maximum present worth amount, so that is selected. So among the three, which is having the maximum present worth? Student, which is having the maximum present worth?
So third case.
Third one, right? So the option 3 will be selected, or the technology 3 is selected. Students, please mute your microphones. I can hear some noise. Okay, so technology 3 is selected here. So this is about revenue dominated cash flow diagram. Any doubt, any difficulty here? So again, please check with the answers. Okay, next one. Now please copy down the question. Later you can try it out.
Sir, what is MARR here?
Yeah, MARR is nothing but minimum acceptable rate of return. So there is something called as external rate of return, internal rate of return, and minimum acceptable rate of return. Okay, so these three are nothing but rate of return, types of rate of return. So external rate of return is nothing but considering the external condition, and then you are going to set the interest rate for the organization or for the equipment or for any other financial component. Okay, so that is external rate of return. Internal rate of return is nothing but considering your internal processes, and you are going to see that the present worth of revenues will be equal to the present worth of cost, or the net present worth is equal to 0. Okay, so that is nothing but the internal rate of return. MARR is called as the minimum acceptable rate of return. So it is nothing but it is the minimum limit at which the company decides to go with the analysis or not. Okay, it is the minimum set requirement of an organization to evaluate any of the alternatives. Say for example, if you have three alternatives and you have the rate of return or IRR value or the interest rate for these three alternatives. Say for example, alternative 1 is having 10% of the interest rate, alternative 2 is having 12% of the interest rate, and alternative 3 will give you say 14% interest rate. Okay, but the company have set their criteria that the interest rate should be say 11%. Okay, or 12%. So in such cases, my MARR value is 12 or 11%, which is nothing but the interest rate set by the organization. Now, when I compare these three alternatives, I will reject the first one because the first alternative will give me only 10% interest rate, and which is less than our set value or the benchmark value or the criteria, that is 11 or 12%. Okay, so 10% would be less than that of the MARR value, which is 11 or 12%. Okay, so straight away I will not consider the first alternative for analysis. Then I will check the second component's rate of return or IRR value. So I can see it is 12%. Okay, so 12% is nothing but the interest rate for the second alternative. So which is equal to my MARR value. So I may go with that particular option for analysis, not for the final decision. For analysis, I may take that alternative because it is equal to that of our MARR value. Then the third alternative, which is 14%, again this value is of higher in nature than compared to the MARR value. Okay, so 14% is greater than 12%, which is MARR. Okay, so the option 3 or alternative 3 will be taken for analysis. So in this example, so first alternative is rejected because it is having less MARR value, because it is less than the MARR value, and the second and third alternative would be selected for analysis because its interest rate or IRR value is same or more than that of the MARR value. Okay, so that is nothing but minimum acceptable rate of return. Okay, so here in this case, we generally consider MARR as the interest rate I, and then we will be calculating it. But when you have a numerical with MARR value and an interest rate separately mentioned, then you have to see whether the IRR value or interest rate is more than that of the MARR or less than that of MARR. If it is less than, then you can directly reject the component, right? If it is more, then you have to take that analysis, that alternative for analysis. So that is what MARR is. So here in this case, we will be considering MARR as interest rate, and then we will be calculating. Okay, so here in this case, MARR is 10%, so that is nothing but interest rate I. First cost, annual operating cost, salvage value, and service life, they have given for 3 different machines. Okay, so they have given minus 2,500, so that means that is a cost. Okay, and annual operating cost is 900 for electric powered machine. Salvage value is 200, service life is 5. Okay, so these components again it would repeat for gas powered and solar powered with different values. Okay, so signs they have already given. So that is an indication of the cost and the revenue. Okay. So since they have already given the sign convention, we will take the signs according to the components which they have given. Okay, and then we will be calculating the value. So I have the solution to this also. Okay, so as it is, we have taken the signs and we have calculated the present worth amount, but here we have salvage value which is taken as positive because it is a revenue dominated cash flow, because we have more components in the sense we have one component relating to the first cost and we have one component relating to the annual operating cost. So we have two components relating to the cost and only one component relating to the source of income, that is salvage value. Okay, so since they have already given the signs, we have taken the signs as it is and we have solved. But when we arrive at a final decision, we have to think about the cost dominated approach and then calculate, because according to the cost dominated approach, if the present worth if the cost dominated factors are more than the revenue dominated factors, then the present worth of the alternative which is having the minimum cost factors will be selected. Okay, so here in this case the electric powered machine is selected because its present worth of its cost is lowest. Okay, so minus $5,788, so that is less than compared to the other. So electric powered machine is selected. Right. So this is,
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
Sir, is it necessary to strictly follow the sign convention? Like,
Sign.
what if we maintain the relative signs between the investment and the outflow and the inflow and solve the
Hmm.
question?
No, if you solve the question, there is nothing wrong. Okay, you will be getting the answers. These answers, the present worth answers, that would be same. But when you are inferring, you have to be very careful. If you can infer, right, according to the given numerical by without considering cost or revenue dominated, then it is well and good. Okay, but see that you will be writing this final inference same and these values depending upon these values. Okay, so you cannot, because what will happen is students one uh, usually they, what they will do is in a hurry they will just write the final answer saying that the alternative one is selected, but they will not write what are, they will not do the calculation. In some cases they will otherwise what they will do is they will simply write one equation, right, and without solving anything they will arrive at a final conclusion stating that this is the final answer, right, but that answer is correct, that the alternative one is selected, so that is correct, but how they have got that answer, so that they will not write. So in that case we will be directly reducing the marks for that. Okay, so you have to see whether you can identify a question relating to the cost dominated or revenue dominated. Okay, if you can identify, use that. If you cannot identify, calculate it separately, and then depending upon the final answer, then you see whether it is relating to the cost or revenue dominated and use the appropriate inference. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So this is about revenue dominated and cost dominated. So please read this question, okay, and see or tell me how we can solve this, or what is the difference between this numerical and the other numerical. So this numerical we will solve it in the next class, but today I will tell you the process for calculating. So tell me what is the difference between this numerical and the previous three numericals.
The time period is different for the two options.
Correct. The time period for the options is different. Okay. So the first three numericals which we have solved for revenue and cost dominated, there we have considered the same time period and we have calculated its present worth. But when we calculate present worth for unequal life, the situation would be different. So these cases are different than compared to the first three numericals. Okay, so in the first three numericals, the service life was same, and we have compared it according to that service life. But here, the service life was different. For location A, you have one service life, that is 6 years, and for location B, you have the service life of 9 years. Okay, so in that case we cannot directly take the present worth as it is and calculate. Okay, so that we cannot do because we will be missing out the opportunity of calculating it for the another 3 years, because option A will be comparing it for the 6 years, whereas option B will be comparing it for a larger time period. So for A we will be missing out the opportunity from 6, right, 6 to 9 years. So that is why what we are going to do is we will be following two different approaches for making it equal. Okay, the first approach, when you have any numerical, when the service lives are unequal, either you can use the first approach, which is called as the least common multiple approach, that is nothing but LCM approach, or you can go with a study period approach, okay, where you will be comparing to one time frame. Okay, so here in this case, we have to use study period, we have to use least common multiple method in the first case, because they have not mentioned anything about the study life or the analysis life. Okay, so we have to use LCM method. Now, what is LCM method? So LCM method is, we will be taking the LCM, that is least common multiples of 6 and 9, right, for this numerical, and for that LCM period we will be analyzing. Now, what is the LCM of 6 and 9?
18.
It is 18.
Yes, sir.
So LCM of 6 and 9 is 18. So that means we will be comparing our alternatives to that 18-year time period. Okay, and then we will calculate the present worth.
Sir, in this case, the salvage value, the $1,000 and the $2,000 are after 6 years and 9 years respectively, right?
Yeah, correct, correct.
So, sir, how we will scale these two values to the 18 years?
So we are not going to scale anything.
Okay.
We cannot scale it, no, because they have given that at the end of 6 years, this is nothing but the salvage value, that is nothing but deposit return. Okay, as well as at the end of 9th year you have 2000. So we have to take at 9th year itself for the location B. For location A, we have to take it at the 6th year. So we cannot move it for the 9th year also. Okay, because as it is given for that year only, it has to incur. We cannot move that cash flows or any salvage value. Okay, so that means you will be having only one salvage value for a period of 6 to 9 years, for a period of 0 to 9 years. Okay.
But sir, in journal, the salvage value will decrease as the time increases, right?
Yeah, salvage value will decrease as the time increases. Correct.
Okay, sir.
But since they have not given, so we cannot take it. Probably it might be 0 after some years. Right. So that is why they might have not been given.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So in the case of least common multiple method, we first take the LCM of our service life, that is 6 and 9. Okay, so LCM is 18. So that means now my time frame is for 18 years. So that means I have arrived to a conclusion that instead of taking uneven service life or unequal service life, I have used LCM and made the service life same. Okay, now here the LCM is 18. So my time frame, instead of 6 and 9, I will be taking the entire 18 years as my analysis period or the time period for our analysis. Okay, so in that case my time would be from 0 to 18, where 18 is nothing but the LCM value of 6 and 9. Okay. Now in that case, you may ask that the option A and option B, or location A and location B, is having the service life of 6 and 9. What will happen for the remaining years till 18? Okay. So for that, what we will be assuming is, after 6 years, the same set of components will repeat for another 2 periods, right? That is still 18. So that means at the end of 6th year, so location A's term will be completed, but according to our analysis, we will be extending it for another 18, up to 18 years. So that means at the end of 6 years, again, the company will go with again a location A, okay, and then they will again lease it, and there would be a lease cost for another 6 years, and again they would have a deposit return at the end of 12th year, okay, and again that you again the second time the process again starts, the cycle would again complete or starts, okay. So that means for location A, you will be having 3 set of same value which is repeating. So you will have 3 first cost, 3 components of annual lease cost, and 3 components of deposit returns at 0, 6th year, 12th year, and 18th year. Okay. Likewise, for location B, you have 2 sets. One is from 0 to 9, and for the second one is from 9 to 18. So that means at the end of 9th year, again the company will look into the cost specification as well as the revenue specification for the location B. So same set of this economic factor or specification will repeat for another 9 years after the lease term of location B. Okay, so that is how we calculate for LCM method. So anyhow, we will be solving it in the next class. So for the study period, the second method is study period method. When we have unequal life, there is another method called the study period. Okay, so in the study period, the company will decide some time period, right? So depending upon some decision, depending upon some calculation or any brainstorming session, right, they will arrive at a final analysis period. So that means I will take 7 years or say 5 years is my analysis period, and I want to consider all the cash flows up to 5 years. After that, I don't want any components. So that means I have restricted my time frame from 6 and 9 to 5 years. Okay, and then I will use 5 years as my base for calculating the present worth amount. So that means anything after 5 years will not be taken into consideration. So for example, here if they have given the study period as 5 years, so in that case you will be getting the first cost for location A, annual operating cost also you will get per year for a period of 5 years. Deposit return you are not going to get, okay, so because it is at the 6th year end. Okay, so for location B also you won't be having deposit return, but you will be having this first cost and annual lease cost for a period of 5 years, because my analysis period was 5 years, or the study period which the management has decided as 5 years. So I will take all the cash component or the cash flows up to 5 years or including 5 years. So after that, I am not going to consider any of the cost or revenue factors. So that is about study period. So when you have a numerical with changing cash flows or uneven cash flows, or unequal cash flows, in that case, either you have to go with least common multiple method, where you are going to take the LCM of service life and you are going to compare or calculate the present worth for that LCM period, or you can use study period method when the study period life is given in the numerical, or when the study period is known to you. Okay. So if in the exam, if they have given, or if we have given the study period or analysis period as 5 years, so that means you can take 5 years as the study period life and you can calculate. But if they have not mentioned anything about study life, then you have to go with LCM method and calculate its present worth value. Okay, so this is about your LCM and study period. So we will solve a numerical on LCM and study period in the next class. Any doubt here?
So,
Yeah.
sir, in the question, it is also mentioned that the 6-year contract has been finalized. So, is there any significance of that?
Yeah, that can also be considered, right? So in some cases, like here in this case, they have mentioned it as 6-year contract. So 6 years contract, that can be taken as a study period. Okay. So probably in the part B of this question, or if there is any extension of this question, you probably you might be getting that into picture. Okay. So 6 years contract means they will be taking only 6 years as my time frame.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so this is just to explain the concept. So that is why I showed you this particular numerical. So if they have given in the question like in this 6-year contract has to be finalized, so that means you can take 6 years as your study period and then calculate.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So other than that, any doubts, any questions? So the same process is applicable for future also, future work. Okay, so revenue dominated, cost dominated, as well as the unequal life. So that is applicable for future work. Okay, so if you don't have any doubts, so we will stop the meeting. Okay, the PPT is relating to this. I will forward it to you. Okay, so okay, so then since we don't have any doubts, so we'll stop the meeting. So we will meet in the next class, that is Wednesday. Okay, so we'll solve some problems relating to the study period and least common multiple. Okay, after that we can move on to the annual worth and future worth comparisons. So then I shall end this meeting. We will meet on Wednesday. Okay, thank you. Quiz I will let you know. Okay, I will let you know by today afternoon. Okay. Yeah. So then I will be ending this meeting.